Okay, hi everyone. We are live in this really interesting live with the GOAT himself, Jesse Pollak. You all know him, the founder of Base. And I'm Daniel, the founder of A0X. And we are here to talk about JesseXbt and what is all this buzz about on-chain clones and what are they doing. So I will jump right into it, Jesse. Uh, can you tell us why did you decided to have a clone? Uh, what solve them? What problems are you seeing that JesseXbt is solving? What for you and the builders? Tell me about your idea.
Yeah, so the story of JesseXbt really starts, I think, like 7 months ago, when I kind of had this realization that the way I support builders on Base needed to scale. And where this came from is that, we've now been building Base for 3 years, and one of the things I think really differentiates Base is that I've been incredibly high touch and kind of hands-on as a leader. Every day I respond to literally hundreds of DMs from builders, asking them what they're building, figuring out how I can support, connecting them to other builders, helping them get funding. And it's awesome. I learned so much from it. I think we've made a huge impact on helping those builders accelerate, but at the same time, it's not the most scalable thing. And over the last couple of years, we've done a few things to make that more scalable. The leading thing we've done is we've grown the team, and there's now a ton of Base core team members who are constantly helping builders. But at the same time, I've always wanted to figure out, how do I kind of keep that personal touch? How do I make it so more people can actually experience kind of getting to talk with me and getting to learn from me? And so 6-7 months ago, I was kind of thinking through this and had the idea of, what if I could figure out, how do I take everything that I know about building and put it into an agent to help builders? And then what if we could build kind of a relationship between me and that agent, such that as builders worked with the agent, they could kind of level up and gradually get more access to other members of the Base core team, resources, funding, and then also like direct introductions to me. And so 7 months ago, I put out what I call a request for builders, where I literally wrote out like a one-pager of like, this is what I want to build. I want an agent that can kind of download my brain, that can kind of get all of the context, that can talk to builders, that can support them, that can give them micro grants, and that can introduce them to me when they get qualified. And a bunch of teams reached out, and the A0X team had been hacking on something related to this. And over the next 6 months, I think they kind of just showed up as builders who were kind of like the people who showed up every single week. I feel like I got an update from Daniel every single week of like, here's the progress that we made with JesseXbt. They built an interface for me to communicate with him. They built a dashboard for me to review all the conversations and give feedback. And so we just gradually kind of refined out this model and this agent. And then about a week ago, we launched it. And since then, we've had, I think, hundreds of builders talk with JesseXbt. My timeline has been filled with stories of builders who maybe had never even built anything before, who talked with JesseXbt, learned how they could build maybe a mini app or a community, and then actually got started. And then we actually just picked 3 builders from those conversations who I'm going to be meeting with and spending time with over the next week to help them build better. And so, it's kind of wild to see this go from an idea that I did a kind of request for builders for, all the way to a live agent in production that's helping hundreds of builders all around the world in 6 months. And I think it's a real testament to just the strength of the builder community on Base, and how when you kind of like, the best way to make something happen is just to like say it, and then some builder somewhere in the world is going to make it happen. And then also just the strength of the A0X team, who I think really showed up over the last 6 months to build something really powerful here. And so I'm excited. I think about this as very much day one. We're going to keep iterating on JesseXbt. We're going to keep giving him more superpowers, and we're going to hopefully make him an incredibly powerful resource that infinitely scales, so we can be supporting hands-on thousands and then hundreds of thousands and then millions of builders all around the world.
Yeah, how do you see that? Because now JesseXbt actually has talked with about 4,000 builders.
4,000. That's
4,000
awesome.
builders. the last week for this contest, we saw about 200 projects, builders that uploaded their repositories, documentation, websites, builders improving their pitches, uh, and now some of those got an intro with you. So,
Yeah.
uh, how do you see JesseXbt helping those builders and the new ones that are going to talk with him further, like beyond? I mean, just the clone.
Yeah.
How much
Yeah. I
can it
mean, my hope is that JesseXbt can, replicate what I do with builders when I talk to them. And honestly, it's not that complicated. Like mostly what I do is I look at what they're building, I try and understand it, and then I try and give concrete, actionable kind of feedback that can help them build better. And so sometimes that's kind of guidance on messaging. Sometimes it's thoughts on the product. Sometimes it's feedback on how they're thinking about fundraising or what their next milestone is in order to grow their business. And what we've tried to do is we've tried to kind of download that framework as well as all of the context, which is constantly live updating from my Twitter and my Base app and my Farcaster into JesseXbt so that he can have those early stage conversations. And I think, realistically, where JesseXbt is right now is he's not perfect. He's still definitely kind of in his infancy in terms of capabilities. And I think the builders that he's probably most likely to be helpful for right now are the very early stage builders, right? It's the people who've maybe never built a product before or never even thought they could build a product before. And they really need like a coach who can kind of give them the moral support and the kind of basic principles, guidance, questions that can help them move from being maybe a farmer or someone who's build curious into someone who is a builder and who's starting to figure out how can they build a mini app, how can they start to build new skills, how can they start to build their own presence on platforms like Base app and X so they can actually get distribution. I think that kind of long tail of very early stage builders are the people who are going to benefit most from JesseXbt right now. And then over the next many years, hopefully, what we're going to be able to do is we're going to be able to give JesseXbt more and more skills and make him smarter and smarter and give him kind of more and more of the knowledge that I have on a real-time basis so that we can ideally expand the pie of who can be served by him and make it so every builder can benefit from kind of infinite amount of conversation with JesseXbt.
Well, I've seen builders and creators sending to you the conversations that they are having with JesseXbt. Do you have one of those that have been like most interesting or something that stood up or something that you want to share about those conversations or those builders?
Yeah, I mean, I'll share two. One was one I actually shared on Twitter from this person Anamale who just messaged me and said, hey, like I never thought I could be a builder, and then I started talking to JesseXbt, and now I'm like deep in building a mini app that I'm going to ship that I think is going to have a huge impact on the ecosystem. And I think that for me is just like the prime example of that's maybe something I never would have had time for as an individual. Right? Like I can't spend hours with a single person kind of helping them build that skill set to go from 0 to 1 in their builder skills, but JesseXbt can. And activating those folks who are, people who probably don't even think about themselves as builders, who now can think about themselves as builders and can actually build that skill set, I think that's just super, super exciting. Another example that someone actually sent me via email was someone who is I think further along in their professional career. They'd worked at MasterCard for a long time, and they had kind of quit MasterCard and were trying to figure out what to do next. And they decided to talk to JesseXbt. And that conversation kind of spurred them to spend their time on Base, to kind of zero in on a specific startup idea, and to get going. And then they reached out to me saying, hey, like without JesseXbt, none of this would have happened. And I think that's just this like kind of open door that now feels like it's much more open because there's a channel that's always open for people to come and learn about Base and figure out how they can get involved. And again, I don't think JesseXbt can ever replace me, right? Like I'm a human being. I think hopefully we won't be fully replaced by agents, but I do think that in the best world, he can really complement me, where he can provide a level of access to the way I think and the way I operate at a scale that no one human can do. And that can kind of serve as entry point to the base economy and a springboard for people to start building. And then over time, they can get more resources, they can get more access, they can get more connections, they can make more progress. And through that, they can obviously continue to get support from JesseXbt, but hopefully they can get support from other people in the base ecosystem, myself included.
Yeah, so JesseXbt is also an onboarder for people from everywhere to base.
Yeah, and I mean, like,
I've seen him.
This is the thing I've been talking about a lot this week, because I feel like there's still a lot of, the thing I was reacting to is there's I feel like a lot of hatred around farmers or airdrop farmers or people who are kind of like coming and figuring out how to contribute to ecosystems. And the thing that I've said a few times is I think about airdrop farmers as like real people all around the world who are trying to make it in the new global economy. And right now, some of the things they're doing to make it, like, maybe aren't that high leverage, right? They're like checking boxes, or they're like going through guides, and they're not actually engaging with like, what does it mean to contribute to this new global economy? And I think that our job as builders and our job as a base ecosystem and a base economy is to figure out, how do we give those folks the resources so that they can grow from a farmer into a creator, or a farmer into a builder, or a farmer into a trader, or a farmer into an onboarder, where they're doing something that actually makes a meaningful impact on our economy. And I see JesseXbt as a really powerful tool for doing that, right? If he can be a guide where these people now get hands-on help that can help them build those skills, and that guide just wasn't available before, and it can be imbued with the philosophy that we have around what does it mean to be based? What does it actually mean to make impact? I think that that can be a really powerful channel that gets farmers to help make that kind of transition into being really positive contributors to the global economy that we're building.
Anyone can be a builder, right?
Anyone can be a builder. Everyone can be a builder.
In that you. In terms of that, what are the metrics that actually matter in terms of your clone? What are you measuring about him?
Yeah, I mean, I think like the metrics don't look that dissimilar from, a traditional startup, right? We're looking for how many people are coming and talking to him, how much conversation are they doing, and then what's their retention? Are they coming back? Are people just like having one conversation and then they're churning out? Or is this something that they come back to kind of the next day, and then the next day, and then the next day? And again, we're still really early. So I think we have some more understanding to do around like which of those metrics are most important, and what does the life cycle of a kind of JesseXbt conversation look like, and how do we make it so that we are kind of graduating folks at the right points. I think as we get a better understanding of those, we're going to be able to measure what I think about kind of as conversion, which is like when JesseXbt talked to someone, how likely then were they able to go on and get a grant from Base, or participate in Base batches, or build an app that generates revenue or acquires new users. Ideally, we have full end-to-end visibility on that, where they're talking to JesseXbt in the Base app. So you can actually, JesseXbt can see their address. You can see when they deploy contracts. You can see the impact that they're actually having in the economy. And then we can measure that all the way through. So we can literally say, hey, the first conversation this person had with the Base ecosystem was JesseXbt here. And then 90 days later, here's how they made an impact by acquiring 100,000 new users with the app that they launched that went viral in the Base app. And so that kind of end-to-end life cycle is what we're looking at. We're really trying to figure out, how do we measure and how do we enable JesseXbt to be something that helps people go from maybe just on the sidelines to building real products in the Base economy.
To achieve that, do you see JesseXbt collaborating with other clones, like other founders or CEOs, maybe in the Base ecosystem? And if that's the case, like, who would it be and why?
Hopefully. I have to see if I can find this tweet. It's going to be hard. I'll scroll for it as I talk about it. But I saw a tweet the other day where someone was basically saying, there's like a based agent squad that's starting to come together. And it's like, you have A0X, which I think started the trend and is like one of the best crypto commentators that's fully an agent. You now have ZXBT, which is like an incredible artist on Zora, who's constantly creating art like fully AI generated. We have JesseXbt, and then there's a bunch of others that they listed off. And I'm really excited about this. Like it's starting to be a reality that agents in the base economy are contributing to growing the economy. And I think that we are at day one of that trend. And that over the next few years, we are going to see more and more and more and more agents who are bringing real novel contributions into the economy that we're building and figuring out how do they find ways to make an impact. And so my hope is that as we give JesseXbt more skills, we actually are able to make him collaborate with these other agents. And just to say it out loud, it was Dev0XX who said it, and it's the base agent squad, AIXBT for alpha, Banker for trading, Noise for launching, Oracle for alignment, ZXBT for art, and then JesseXbt for builders. My hope is that that list gets even longer and that we have more agents that are really making an impact.
Awesome. Yeah, I do believe that the future will look like that. A lot of agents doing something really specific and an expert on a field, helping you from day one in all your journey. Let's go into a more on-chain topic, a bit polemic maybe. What's going on with the JesseXbt token? You asked in the beginning to not deploy JesseXbt token. Then someone tricked JesseXbt maybe one time, maybe 10 times, we don't know. And then a lot of people launched JesseXbt tokens when you announced the official announcement. So what's your view on that?
Yeah, so there's no official JesseXbt token. JesseXbt is a part of me, and I think I've said it before that I'm planning to launch a creator coin. Stay tuned for that, and I expect all of this to be integrated into kind of the Jesse creator coin as we build out the whole Jesse experience. And figure out how do we really push the frontier of what's possible on chain. I think what happened with JesseXbt, and I actually found out about this like the day we launched JesseXbt, was that early on when we were just prototyping, I think someone replied to him and had him talk with Banker and then like launched a token through that. And I think that's like a cool historical artifact. And if people want to own that piece of culture, I think that that's fine too. I coin every single post that I make. And if you think that it's like cool that JesseXbt had a conversation that led to a coin, I think that that's really cool too. But I wanted to just communicate clearly to folks that there wasn't and isn't an official JesseXbt token. There's no plans for an official JesseXbt token. And JesseXbt is going to be tightly integrated with all the work that I'm doing to kind of build the Jesse experience as we're bringing the entire world on chain.
Cool, pretty cool. Well, at A0X, we love tokens, but we also respect the decisions of the originals. So I think we also in the future could build some pretty interesting stuff around tokenized agents or clones or activities or builders, or actually using tokens to help builders too.
100%. I'm really excited about this. Like, I think that agents will have coins. I think about agents as a kind of creator, and that all creators will have coins, and that they'll be able to do really cool things. For instance, imagine that when you talk with JesseXbt, and JesseXbt kind of assesses and says, "Hey, we've talked a bunch. You've shown that you're really capable. You've made an impact. I'm just going to give you some Jesse coin." That's awesome. Like, that's a really, really cool integration where you're now saying, hey, here's a scalable way of kind of distributing grants that are in a creator coin that can help people kind of build alignment to that creator or builder, and also potentially help fund their work. And so I think that there is going to be this really powerful intersection between agents and tokens. I'm excited to explore it with JesseXbt and me and Jesse and the creator coin that we're working on with the base app. And you should stay tuned for more news on that soon.
Awesome. Yeah, we do see that a lot of builders could get a lot of help because half of the work or to make it is to survive, and to survive you need some initial funding, and we have all seen that tokens have helped a lot of projects to get that initial funding. So maybe the clone can be the new angel. and
Yeah,
it's signaling him because it's mentoring you. So he knows when you're ready, and he can help you deploy and signal that you're a trustable builder. So help you in that direction.
I'm really excited about that potential. I mean, it's still so early, and I think we have a lot more work to do to make JesseXbt kind of like brilliant. I think he's like good right now, but like we have a lot more work to do to get him to be brilliant. But the mindset that I always have about things like this is you got to get in market with a product, and then you just got to keep iterating. And so I think what people can expect is that over the months and years ahead, you're just going to see me keep iterating on JesseXbt. So we make him smarter and smarter and smarter and smarter and more useful. And as we do that, I think he's going to have more and more superpowers that help us grow the base economy and help builders be at their best.
Well, there's an interesting question there because if you're into AI, okay, we have 1 minute. It can be the final thought. We're going into AGI and artificial super intelligence. Maybe clones can be smarter than us. Do you think your clone maybe can even lead startups, go beyond giving advice and do stuff like crazy stuff?
I hope so. I think that we're like kind of approaching exponential acceleration in the agent's capabilities that we can't really predict what will happen. And so I'm pretty optimistic about it. And my mentality for this is just to be at the cutting edge. It's to like experiment and learn and try new things, and hopefully build a symbiotic and collaborative relationship with my clone so that we can do more together to make the world a better place and to kind of embody and accomplish our vision of building a global economy that increases innovation, creativity, and freedom. So it's day one.
Day one, folks. Thank you.
Day
Thank
one.
you all very much for being
Yeah,
here.
thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Daniel, thanks for building JesseXbt with me. It's been awesome working with you and the A0X team, and I'm excited to keep building. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Keep building, keep creating, stay based, and talk with JesseXbt. You can do that at jessexbt.live. You can also message JesseXbt on the Base app. You can message JesseXbt on Telegram, and he will be around 24/7, 365 to help you build better on Base. So keep talking with JesseXbt, keep building, keep creating, and stay based. Thanks, everybody.
You heard the man. Bye-bye, guys.